your best friend?
That's my best friend. That's my best friend. Ooh.
Go best friend. That's my best friend.
Hey everyone, it's Miss Kiana from CYC. This is probably mostly going to be a voiceover because I didn't want the extra background noise to be in it, and my friend, also thankful for them, helped me film this video, and we had conversations the entire time. So before we do any volleyball skills, always stretch. For real. Please stretch. I have not stretched in the past, and I can just say that's why I'm doing it now. I learned the hard way. So whatever stretches work best for you, you can follow along with what I'm doing right now, or you can come up with your own. There's never too much time you can spend stretching. I also didn't show this part, but some warm-ups too, maybe some lunges, some sprints, some shuffling. That would all be great too to get your body warm. It was so beautiful out this day last week. I practiced social distancing. Do not worry. The friends that I'm with right now is the only person that I have seen in, 3 weeks. So, and we still practice our social distancing. Besides that, I've gone out to the grocery store, and that's about it. But here I'm talking about opening up my hips. Hips are a really, really big deal when playing volleyball. There's a lot of squatting and being low to the ground when playing defense, and there's a lot of jumping involved and a lot of lateral movements. So hips are a very important thing to make sure that you stretch and open up however you need. Here we're opening up our shoulders by bending our elbows with the ball in both of our hands behind our back. This will seriously open up your triceps. And you can see that I have involved my friend in stretching with me. This is so important to do. You can easily get shoulder injuries in volleyball if you're not completely warmed up in that way. Now we're just throwing the ball from hand to hand, side to side, extending our arms out horizontally so we can really get that muscle in between our shoulders. Eventually, no matter what position you play in volleyball, you will serve or set or hit. And so shoulders are constantly being used in this game. When you are passing, you need to make sure that your hands are together and your thumbs are connected. Your fingers should not be crossed or overlapping. And your forearms are extended straight out, and that is where the ball is making contact. You do not need to swing a lot. The ball will go behind your head or way too far and not to your target. So you should barely be moving your arms really when you pass. The power comes from the ball coming to you or the power you use in your legs. And so you want to have a stance that is shoulder width apart, with your knees bent, ready to go. If your legs are too wide, you are stuck and can't move, or you will cross over yourself. You want to be ready and agile. So here's how much your knees should be bent. When you are low and you can put your hands on your knees or your thighs, your arms should be extended straight out. That's how low you want to be. Otherwise, it'll be too low and you can't get up, or too high and you can't move. Here's some examples of me passing with my friend. You can do this with anyone who is willing to toss you a ball. You can see that I step to the ball every time. I don't expect it to always come to me. And my platform, as you're about to see, stays straight. I make sure that I hold this position after I pass so I know that I did it correctly. If the ball is too short, make sure that you run fully through it like I'm about to do. Ball is coming too short, and I run all the way through to make sure my ball gets to the target. With setting, I still return back to my ready position every single time, like when we're passing. My fingers stay straight when I pass. I make sure that I make contact with all 10 of my fingers every time, and my arms are extended above my head. I'm not pushing them out to the side or swimming. I call it like Superman, keep them straight. Next, we're going to talk about hitting. Honestly, a pretty hard thing to do, but one of the most rewarding things to do when you get it. So stance is important. We're never facing, if we're at the net, we are not facing the net. We are facing our setter, who is going to be to the right of us. We want to face them so we know where the ball is coming. Our swing is very important, and it comes from our arms coming from behind us. So we want to push all of the wind behind us. That's where our power comes from with our swing. So once our knees are bended and our arms are behind us, ready to go, that's when we would jump. Both of your arms come up, not just your hitting arm. Both arms come up. I'm right-handed, so you would do this opposite if you were left-handed. And like a bow and arrow, your arm is going to pull back really tight. And our hand is open all the way, and our entire hand is ready to make contact with the ball. So hopefully you're trying this with me. It's a lot easier to do it than to just sit and watch. So our arm is back, ready to go. And now watch that core. It is going to turn. This is where all of the power and the snap comes from. This is why we face the setter, so we can see where the ball is coming from, but also so we can turn and twist our body and hit towards the court. How we get that power in our wrist action, how we get the ball to snap down in that impressive way that we always see in videos, is that our entire palm, including our fingers and our fingertips, makes contact with the ball. If you hit with a flat hand, it will go too far. You must cup the ball in the shape that the ball is. So I practice just hitting my hand against the ball, as you just saw, over and over so I can get the shape correctly, so it feels right. My entire hand makes contact with the ball. How we're going to get the ball to go in different directions is with our wrist. So if I turn my wrist to the right, the ball is going to go cross court. If I turn my wrist to the left, it might go down the line. That was a lot to take in. We'll rewatch that part if you need to, or slow it down. But now let's get some practice in so you can watch what the whole swing looks like in its entirety. So if you have someone who can help you out and practice with you, have them toss the ball high above your head, and you are going to practice swinging on the ball. My best advice is that you don't want to wait until the ball comes down. You want to go out and get it and reach for it. So you don't want to wait until the ball is at the level of your forehead and then you're hitting. You want to extend your arm as high as you can above your head and swing. And do this over and over again as many times as you can. And do not forget a dance break. Never forget the dance break. Okay, so what do you do if you don't have a partner? Well, you do it by yourself. So you can toss the ball up and try to set while walking, or set in one place if you just want to get used to it. But walking is kind of a challenge, so you have to have your footwork right. If you are right-handed, your right foot will be in the front in the lead, and if you're left-handed, the other way around. You can also pass to yourself standing in one spot, or try to move and do so, which means you would have to get your feet to the ball. That's a really great way to practice, actually. And you can do this over and over and over again. If you are outside and you have a tree, like I did, you can use the tree to set against, toss the ball and pass against, or even hit against. But I would be a little cautious hitting against a tree, because if you miss and it rolls in the street, I definitely did that. Maybe not the safest, but the point is that even if you don't have another person to play with, there are many ways that you can practice volleyball without someone else. So be creative, come up with your own ways. Here is me setting against a tree more closely, just to get my handwork right, to make sure that all of my fingertips are touching the ball. And if you step further away, then the ball will come slower back at you, and you can continue to increase your distance. And don't forget, please don't forget, just to be silly, to be playful. This is supposed to be fun. And lastly, if you have someone to play with, the kind of advanced version is to play a game called Pepper. I have no idea why it's called that, but the point is to pass, set, hit as many times in a row as you can. So you toss the ball, your partner passes it high enough for you to set, and you set high enough for them to hit the ball. We didn't really get that many in a row because I was still teaching my friend the basics of the game, but this is the most fun to play once you get the hang of it. Stay cool, stay playing.